We have a really ambitious plan for 2025. We have a large project area. We're just drilling part of one deposit. There are 6 other known deposits and a number of prospects. We're currently applying for a large permit for the whole area. It's called a plan of operations. So likely to be a lot of holes permitted. Between 100 and 200 holes permitted. That's what we'll go for. The process takes 6 months, so we'll be applying fairly soon, and we can expect to get it in 6 months if things go the way we hope.
Welcome to another edition of CEO and Market Expert Interviews. I'm your host, Lucian. Some of you know me as Triangle Investor from social medias. I'm joined by thomaslamb, Myriad Uranium CEO today. Tom, it is great to see you again. Welcome back.
Thanks. It's always good to see you, Lucian.
Always good to see you, Thomas. And let's start with, I'll have a lot of questions, mine questions and questions from my followers. Let's start actually with the fresh news with the initial drilling at the Copper Mountain Uranium Project in Wyoming. How are things moving there? You announced preliminary results from the initial phase of the program, which was, I believe, focused only on the Canning deposit area.
Correct.
How is the drill program going? Does it meet your expectations so far compared to historic drill results?
So it's exceeded our expectations. I think the geologists like to say we've done a really good job of confirming historical work, and that they don't really want to go beyond that because they have to be conservative with how they approach it. We're drilling near historical drilling that we know a lot about, and about half of the historical cross sections that relate to our area don't have granular grade information. They have grade ranges indicated on the cross sections, and we're drilling near some of those historical holes. And where those holes showed, for example, intercepts of between 1,000 and 2,500 ppm, or 500 and 1,000, or just above 2,500, we seem to be exceeding those cross sections. In some cases significantly, and we're very happy about that. Now, this is from my point of view as CEO, and I'm not the geologist, and I don't have to be as conservative as they do. But so we're very pleased. I think we've, from management's point of view, we've gone beyond what we expected, and we would have been happy if we just confirmed the historical work. But we seem to be doing very well, as people have seen from the news release.
Yeah, and the market is actually rewarding you, and share prices really has improved, and the sentiment around Myriad, I have to confirm that I'm on social media all the time. So the sentiment around Myriad has gone 360 in a few months. So you're doing the right job. What are your impressions on the results so far in the terms of inclined holes compared to vertical holes used in the historic estimates? Can you give me more color on that?
Yeah, and so to refresh anybody who may not remember this or doesn't understand this, Union Pacific drilled almost all vertical holes to a shallow depth. This is in the 1970s. They drilled about 2,000 holes. And they were going after shallow, horizontal lying, low-grade uranium, largely. Towards the end of their tenure there, and then since, people have realized that a lot of the high grade sits in these near vertical faults, and that our view is that, that we have a hypothesis we're testing, is that actually drilling at an angle might help us intercept these near vertical faults that Union may have missed. Also, those faults go deeper, and maybe there's interesting and exciting deeper mineralization. If we are successful, we will gather mineralization that Union did not get and they didn't include in their resource estimates. So we're hopeful about that. It's too early to say, I guess, is the answer. So we're drilling lots of angled holes. They're getting good results. But we're going to have to look at structure. We're reviewing the core right now. We're doing the logging and photographing of core. And the core will be split and samples will be sent for assay. All this together, along with our probe results, which include, in a lot of cases, not all holes, but a lot of cases, we're basically imaging the structure of the hole as we go down, of imaging the structure of the subsurface as we probe the hole. It's an attachment to the probe. And so we have not reviewed all that to help us understand whether angling the holes is going to yield what we hope it will. But stay tuned.
Right. How do you choose the locations of the drill holes? Do you go by historic locations or do you follow a grid with a certain spacing?
So we're not quite doing a grid. That may come later at some point. It's a combination of a few things. Number one, we want to confirm old holes. We have three-dimensional grade shells that we've developed from our historical drill information. We want to confirm whether those are accurate. So we're doing some drilling to confirm that. We have come up with our own ideas about what might be going on down there in the subsurface. We're trying to confirm those ideas too by, stepping out a little bit. And then thirdly, we want to find the edges of the, higher grade zones. Area of special interest is broadly the northern third of the Canning deposit. And so we've actually, people will see, in some cases, we've stepped out a little bit to find we know what's inside the high grade area and now what's outside it a bit. So some of the drilling is to delineate that, understand where the edges are. So it's a combination of those three.
Okay, I got it.
Could I also mention, and I think this might come up, we also want to figure out what's deeper. And so we also pick drill hole locations that will help us better understand what's deeper. What is deeper? It's the topography is rolling hills. So maybe we pick locations that are lower to enable us to go deeper faster. We don't have to drill through the top of a hill. So that also helps us, that's relevant to us picking locations.
Of course. Thomas, a question that a lot of investors wants to hear. Will this drill campaign you are having right now, the holes drilled this autumn, be enough for initial resource estimate, let's say in early 2025? And actually, what are the requirements for incorporating the Union Pacific historical data into a future 43-101?
So the answer is I'm not sure about the historical resource. We've had the gentleman I think will lead the resource estimation has visited our project. So that visit is done, and I think he really understands the project. Whether we get a resource estimate is to be seen. And I think I've seen some comments on social media and others that I've been told to be cautious about making statements about it. And I've taken so I can't make promises regarding that.
No, I understand that part. You say what you can say, of course.
Yeah. But let's see, we're getting great results. We have some tight-spaced holes. We're doing a really good job of confirming the historic work and in my view, going beyond it. So, if we get experts and visitors coming through Riverton to see our core, talk to us, meet our experts, these things, ordinary course for a company like ours, we're engaging with people. So if you're an outsider and you understand that Union has done great work, they did great work in the 1970s. They had the leading experts at the time. They drilled 2,000 holes. Their work was very robust. Their estimates, et cetera, were, conservative and robust. And you come and you engage with us. Okay, maybe we don't yet have a 43-101 resource estimate in a category. But based on our drilling, even just the first 11 holes that we've news released, I think you can have very high confidence that Union's work was was good, and their estimates are, you know, you can have confidence in their estimates as minimums. And I think that experts who look at us will see that. So, that's very useful from a corporate point of view, because retail investors and others who maybe want to see a resource estimate, I get it. I like them too. But from a sophisticated people coming and reviewing the project, we're doing a lot of the things that they need to see to confirm the old work, which is really important. That takes us to, which is great. That takes us to the second part of the question: can we use the historic data? To what extent? Unfortunately, we can't use it as much as we would like. We have, for a lot of the holes, especially a lot of the historic holes, say there are 2,000 holes. In our area, maybe there are 180, 200 holes drilled historically. We have good data for those holes in that we have cross sections. About half of those cross sections show pretty granular grade information. The other half show grade ranges. Unfortunately, we do not have assay certificates, QA/QC relevant information that would enable somebody who's doing a resource estimate to just really leverage those historic holes to the fullest. But I think that information adds assurance, so I think it helps a bit. But fundamentally, we're going to have to do a lot of our own drilling to enable a resource calculation.
Yeah, fair enough.
Helps a bit, I would say. That's the answer.
Yeah. Do you already have some early plans for 2025? I mean, plans for the exploration program. All that depends on the results from the current drilling campaign.
Yeah, it's a combination. We have a really ambitious plan for 2025. We have a large project area. We're just drilling part of one deposit. There are 6 other known deposits and a number of prospects. We're currently applying for a large permit for the whole area. It's called a plan of operations. So likely to be a lot of holes permitted, between 100 and 200 holes permitted. That's what we'll go for. The process takes 6 months, so we'll be applying fairly soon, and we can expect to get it in 6 months if things go the way we hope. So ambitious plans for drilling, geophysics, which would include radiometrics, and then we'll see about mag. Maybe we'll do mag on specific areas or mag throughout. We'll have to decide. But anyway, geophysics. We always have an ongoing staking program that is always based on results and what it tells us about subsurface and where things are maybe going. So there's that.
Yeah, you mentioned staking. I want to hear more about it. You recently said that you are working on building a map of Wyoming area to show the other companies have properties near Copper Mountain. How is that going? And my plan is my question is, do you plan to expand or buy or option more land adjacent to existing licenses?
We definitely are looking at it all on an ongoing basis. I've mentioned this publicly before, that we have our public-facing map, but for strategic reasons, I can't talk about what's really going on behind the scenes. But as soon as I can, I'll reveal that to the world, obviously. But told everybody we're always expanding, staking. We're always engaged in conversations with other groups, so our historical data is guiding us. Our current drilling is guiding that. I'll say that Copper Mountain is full of surprises. Union drilled shallow holes looking for uranium, assayed for uranium. That was it. We have their experts, especially Jim Davis in Denver, who was general manager of Union's work in the 1970s, advising us. Yeah, I'll just say Copper Mountain's full of surprises. We're way ahead of what Union Pacific understood about the project. So yeah, everybody stay tuned. It's going to be very interesting next few months, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure it will be exciting. With this historical, I want to ask you a question. Union Pacific had a plan. Did they have a mining method on the property planned?
So people can look at the maps if they like, but otherwise I'll try to explain it. To the northern part of our project area, the foothills, and then there's some small mountains there that are granite mountains with 50 ppm uranium in the granite. Then we have some hills that we're currently drilling right now, and then that flattens out into a bit of a plain. So you go from granite to fractured granite with all sorts of interesting things going on and formations and layers. People can get into that in our PowerPoint and other materials if they want, or message me or call me, anybody who would like to learn more about that. Then it transitions to sandstone, I suppose. The southern part of our project area was held by Neutron, which is now Encore, 2006, 2012. And Neutron, again, now Encore, held 40% of the area we are currently drilling, 2006 to 2012. The other 60% was held by Strathmore. I'm just trying to insert that in there so people understand there's serious people. They could never kind of unify ownership last cycle, so that's why they were trying to unify ownership. Okay, so you've got fractured granite, you've got some other layers that are things like conglomerate, boulders with sand in the middle, all very uranium rich. This is in the center of our project area, the Arrowhead mine. So that was a mine that had a lot of uranium, that coated boulders, coated sand particles, and everything in between. Just learned, by the way, I'm going to go off on a tangent. We were just at Arrowhead a few days ago. That's again the historic uranium mine, the center of our project. They had grades up to 5% uranium.
Wow.
That they mined, and we're just learning. This is an example of the surprises that Copper Mountain is revealing on an ongoing basis. We just learned this. This is okay. So there's a lot more to come. So fractured granite, transition to sandstone. Union Pacific was going to engage in conventional open pit mining of the various deposits at the northern half of Copper Mountain. That's the answer. It's going to be conventional open pit mining, and I think that we're going to chase high grade underground as needed. But they had our estimates of 15 to 30 million pounds. Those are the historic estimates. Those estimates were for their mine planning purposes. And there's lots more uranium beyond that, as far as we understand. It's almost like a exploration target, I suppose, would be this sort of 65 million pounds plus number. They had all sorts of different categories back then that they used internally. So they don't connect with 43-101 very well. But yeah, conventional, but to the south, sandstone, see about impermeable layers and all that type of thing, but could be in situ recovery. I'll also add that Union in the 1970s looked at in situ in our northern areas too, in the fractured granite, and latterly, or more recently, experts have talked about the potential for in situ also in the northern areas. Union did a bit of work on it. Their memos that we have in our proprietary data are a little bit encouraging. Just say a lot more work needs to be done. But because they already had financing with California Edison and another company whose name I forget, this is in the 1970s, everybody was going to make a lot of money doing conventional mining of these deposits, and they had the buyers in the California Edison reactors that were planned to be built. So conventional mining, maybe in situ. More work needs to be done to confirm that.
Yeah. In the latest news from the company, we saw you exercise the option to acquire an initial 50% interest on Copper Mountain. What are the next plans and steps with regards of the agreement with Rush Metals? And is there any plans to fast track the 75% earning in Copper Mountain based on great success you are having there?
Yeah, we will definitely fast track. We'll do it without even purposely fast tracking because there's so much to do. We're spending money. We have to spend a total of 5.5 million Canadian over 4 years. We're only 1 year in, and we're already at 3 or 4 million, I think. And so we're going to get there quickly. So I anticipate we'll be at 75%. Don't hold me to this, but first half of 2025, I wouldn't be surprised if we're almost there or there.
Okay, that's great. How is the cooperation with Rush Metals going?
Yeah, we're close friends. Everybody knows each other well now. We have some common significant shareholders now because of the interest. This is people who've been following it really like it. And so they've come, some of the old Rush shareholders have come into Myriad, et cetera, and vice versa. Everybody also is trying to figure out what the right ratio is between the values of the two companies because there's a potential arbitrage there. In fact, there is an arbitrage. Which direction it should be, that's up to the investors. But there are people looking at the two companies, and we get along great. They're delighted. They don't have to spend any money. We're going to raise lots of money and spend it on the project, and it's going to create value for both companies. So yeah, and as I've mentioned before, so the two companies we have this option agreement. If you look at the terms, yes, we get to 75%, but there are various sweeteners for Rush, and it makes the deal just a little bit complicated. It can all be sorted out, once we start production or somebody buys us or something like that. That'll all sort out. But might make sense to unify the companies at some point. So I've mentioned that in the past a number of times publicly.
Yeah, I did, and I asked you in our prior interview that question. I remember. Yeah, there are a lot of synergies, and it's quite obvious, so to say.
It would clean up the option agreement because it would be gone. So it would be 100% ownership. But I've been talking about that publicly since we did the deal, a year ago. So who knows? That could happen. But of course, we would announce it if it was ever something that we were going to do.
Of course. Thomas, how is the situation with skilled labor, drilling companies, engineers? Did you have any problems securing the people?
I wouldn't say worried about it, but we didn't know if we were going to have problems. People talked about that. We've been lucky. We've actually attracted people. So instead of having to go out and find them, to a large degree, they've come to us. Now, earth moving, we did have to hunt a bit, and people were very busy, but we found a great earth moving company. The drillers we engaged a long time ago, and they've been fantastic. So that's okay. They brought their own labor, and they engaged some local people as needed. There's a local firm in Riverton, Wyoming called BRS Engineering. We've had a close relationship with them since Rush acquired the project. Actually, they're the authors of the 43-101, and they've been excellent. And they have a great group of geoscientists, engineers who have stepped up and helped as needed. They're also local, so they know everybody, and they've helped us find all the people we need for water, labor, core shed, et cetera. So we've been very lucky. It's okay for us.
Have you talked with them for the next drilling campaign, secure them for the next one as well?
Yeah, everybody's going to be available as needed.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in great shape.
Okay.
In fact, everybody's already working together to plan next year.
Brilliant. Are you fully covered with people on all aspects to advance Copper Mountain to the next stage, or you plan to bring more know-how people to the company?
Well, we're in good shape right now. We have mining engineers, geologists, geoscientists of the various kinds, all engaged as needed right now. So we're in great shape for our phase. We're even a little bit ahead of where we need to be. We've we've attracted great people. We've talked about our cap table. In some cases, the investors have put forward their own experts. At least what happened is, especially in one case, but then others too that I haven't talked about as much, their specialists have come in and done a dive into our data room to help them decide whether to invest. And not only have the experts recommended investing, but they said, could I join your team and be part of it and be part of this? So we're built to be much bigger and more advanced than we are. So we're ahead of where we need to be, and actually in terms of our bench strength. So we're in very good shape.
You closed the private placement early October last month. The interest was very high. It was actually oversubscribed. You initially wanted to raise 5 million, and you end up with almost 6 million, if I remember correctly. How is the share structure looking now after the raise? You probably got some big shareholders.
Yeah, we've got some funds coming in. Or funds came in, the people that we were really hoping would, again, coming down from their minimums. They typically would invest in bigger companies, and they making exceptions, which is really we're really happy about. So we have a really great cap table. We have early on, a year ago, we were really hoping to change the makeup of our cap table. But every little company, every little public company in the resource space tries to make that transition, and sometimes you get caught out, and you need money, you can't raise it, you got the wrong shareholders involved, and you're stuck. We now have jumped that gap, I think, to having great retail investors. We have sophisticated individuals who are well-known as uranium investors. We've got some funds. And a couple of really good funds that have come in. I should actually check with them if they mind me mentioning their names. Maybe next time we meet, I'll know whether I can mention them. And and I'm having meetings all the time. I'm in Toronto right now. That's why I don't always wear the suit. Great meetings now. We're in Wyoming. We've got a great brownfield project with lots of upside. And uranium is obviously the spot price has dropped a few dollars, but behind the scenes, I think everybody understands that uranium is on the march again. And geopolitics, Trump winning here, maybe there's going to be our tariff wall is going to go up, and you're going to want to be inside the United States. Everybody's going to find out.
Yeah, that is definitely helping, I believe.
Want to be inside the U.S. If you can be inside the U.S., it's better to be inside right now, looking ahead. And we're there, and so the people definitely want to talk to us, and and you can see, I mean, obviously we're delighted with the trading of our shares. The price, everybody wants prices to go up and everything. We really like that it's actually at I'm in this because I think it's going to be worth a lot. The share price is going to be much, much higher before too long. And I'm most excited about making all the investors a lot of money, hopefully. But at the moment, having just done our private placement, having some, those June shares come free a few weeks ago, 2.9 million that we raised at 25 cents. All those shares came free a few weeks ago, and we're trading really well. I'm really pleased about. We're just very solid, and we're in good shape. Also, warrants are getting exercised, and those warrants are being absorbed because people are selling in connection with the exercise, and that's getting absorbed nicely. That cleans up the cap table, puts money in our treasury. It's we're knock on wood. Of course, everything can change on a dime.
Exactly. No, today
we're in good shape right now.
Yeah, to have capital and access to capital for exploration company, that is a big thing, in my opinion. Final question, Thomas. It is a question from one of my follower. What is the end goal for the company? Build a mine or sell it to the developer?
So we are basically we're planning for all the different potential paths that create liquidity, generate a big win for the investors. So we basically have to think about how are we going to turn this into a mine and produce uranium at a profit, and that's going to make everybody a lot of money. So that is the fundamental, that's number one. That's the target. By doing that, we are going to attract potential buyers and merger partners and et cetera. So, my job is to make everybody, all the investors, as much money as possible. And so, that's what we're going to try and do. However, whatever path that is, fundamentally, how are we going to turn this into a mine that is highly profitable, and then that almost solves all the other problems. We'll attract a buyer. We'll do some interesting things, joint ventures. We have some really cool prospects. Of course, the public-facing information, you can see what's there with regard to prospects. But some of the, especially if somebody signs an NDA, gets into it, can look at it. We have good things that we might be able to joint venture out to. So there's some going to be different ways to create value for shareholders.
Okay, Thomas, thank you for coming to my show. Great chat as always, and I look forward to update our viewers. Thank you.
Always great to speak with you, and look forward to the next time.